with no further ado, Jeffrey, I'm so glad to have you here. We welcome you. Everybody is excited. So let's go.
Man, I have enjoyed this so far. But my goal this afternoon now is to talk with men and bring into awareness their mental health issues. Now, ladies, I know I'm focused on men, but I want to share something with the ladies. Married women, women that are engaged, ladies, women that are looking forward to being married. In order to help a man with his mental awareness, you have to be his safe place. You have to be the place that he can go to, that he can talk to, the shoulder that he can lean on and cry on without thinking that he's an imp, a simp, a wimp, or anything else. But the other thing is that you have to be very careful of what he shares with you, don't take it back to nobody else. Because if you break that confidence with him, I promise you, he won't tell you anything else. He won't. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to share, and I'm gonna start off with a story because I was actually in the military, and I got a station at West Point, New York, as a 23-year-old. I was an ambulance driver, and my first case that I went to was a man who sat in his garage with a 22. He shot himself on the left side of his face, and it fractured everything on the left side, but the bullet tumbled and ricocheted and broke everything on the right side of his face. He survived, but what am I saying? Suicide attempt. And that's one of the major things that a lot of men deal with because we don't open up and talk to nobody. I'm gonna give you a few stats from 2020, from 2022 and 2023. And this is some previous data that was put out. And it shows approximately 36,000 to 40,000 men die by suicide annually. And if you understand why I'm saying that, they said on an average annually, there's 48,800 suicides a year. Now look at the percentage of how many of them are men. But the biggest thing about that is the rate and the age of most men that commit suicide, they're actually 75 and above. And here's what got me about that. And I had to think about it. Why is it that it's older men? Do you understand that most of the time, these are the guys that are alone, they're single, they have nobody to talk to? Because we built that around ourselves, because we have made that a part of our norm because of the world's norm that was set for us. Now check this out. Although women attempt suicide more than men, men die at about 3 times the rate of women. And the stats say men die 21.6% versus 6.4% of women out of every 100,000. I don't want to push into the stats of suicide too much longer, but what I want to do is I want to give you an understanding as to why this matters or factors in mental health for men. And one of the first points I want to bring up is emotions. The biggest problem that we have as men, we were taught to be emotionless. We were taught that if we cry and we show any kind of emotions, and I'm gonna use the terms that's been taught, we've been punks because we show emotions. But in today's society, with a lot of women, if a man show emotions, now they're simps. They have no backbone, they're spineless, and to a lot of people, they're not worth anything. But one thing I really want you to understand is this. What are the consequences of this happening to us when we don't share our emotions? We don't look at the consequences. Well, there's some serious consequences that we have to face. And one of the biggest consequences that we face is, men, we sit there in silence. We sit there in silence because we are so afraid of what other people are going to think about us when we talk about our emotions. So therefore we hide. We do like the ostrich do. We stick our head in the sand and we say nothing. And we suffer in silence. But as we suffer in silence, there's other things that it costs. We face depression, we face anxiety. And again, this is fueled by emotional suppression. You hide your emotions, you hide who you are, and you never set yourself free. And the thing about this is that when we go through this, it's like Apostle Paul, we have a thorn in our flesh, and we don't know what that thorn is. Well, let me help you with that thorn is. That thorn is you're holding in more than you letting out. The thing that's weighing you down is what you're holding in because you have not found anybody you can talk to. It's just like going to a doctor. We don't like going to doctors. But how are you going to find out what's wrong if you don't have nobody to talk to? If you don't go to anybody, how are you going to have somebody to talk to? You know, a lot of times what we do when we're going through emotions, we find people that's going through the same thing that we're going through to talk to us. And guess what? Two broke people can't help each other. The Bible says it's like the blind leading the blind and they both fall into a ditch. What do we have to do? We have to stop being afraid and we have to start finding people that can help us. There are folks that we can turn to that's willing to step out and do the unthinkable for us. Now, everybody is not the same because a lot of times when I sit down and mentor, it's through Christian mentoring and even Christian counseling with mental health. So yes, I will throw the Bible in there at you and I will talk to you about it. And I'll tell you why. We talk about men when they cry, but do you know the strongest man in the world wept? The strongest man in the world wept. And he didn't care about what people thought about his emotions because he had concern for his friend. But man, you have to have that concern for yourself and not be so caught up in what other people think about you. Because why? I can't base my life on what other people feel or what other people say. But that's what we do. We don't want to feel like the weakest link. But really, when you open up, you become a strong link. You become a support system for other men to help pull them out of what they're going through. I got my notes, but I'm really not focused on my notes because I want to focus on helping you to understand that you got to break the silence. You have to break the silence. You're not alone. And a lot of times we feel like we're alone. I don't know if you understand this term right here, but if you ever were in the military, especially in the Army, it says, we got your six. Men, you need to know there's other men that have your back. But the only way we can have your back is when you turn around and you decide to open up. You got to stop believing the social norms of you got to be a tough guy. No, you don't. A real man has emotions. A real man will show his emotions. And a real man is not afraid to say, I need help when I'm down. But the ones that have been taught to try to be strong, it's not working. I'm telling you now, it's not working. To try to be tough, to try to be strong, it's not working. Why? Because a lot of what we're supposed to do diminish. I want you to think about the stats I gave you. 21.6% are men. That's 36 to 40,000 men a year die from suicide. That's not attempts, that is successful suicides. Do we understand what we're leaving behind when we do that? Do we understand the things that we're helping put other people through when we do that? We have to know how to be valued, and we have to know how to value ourselves. And we have to know how to be true and real to ourselves. Our mental health awareness consists of opening up. Stop harboring and stop hiding. Why? Because it causes us to be numb. And we walk around emotionless with no feelings. You ever see some of them zombie movies? Well, when we hide our emotions, that's what we look like. We can fake the smile on the outside. We can fake we okay on it, on the outside, but are we really okay on the inside? Because when you hide your emotions, it actually brings forth different kinds of pains, different kind of aches. And some of those aches and pains that you're going through are really imaginary. It becomes a mindset because it's a mind thing. The steps that we take to not guarding ourselves from these mental illnesses, that's what set us up. Now I'm gonna share a story because I'm actually in the process of writing a book called Forgotten Authority. Men, the reason why we are emotionless and we feel this way because we forgot who we are. We forgot who we were created to be. We have allowed everything else and everybody else to come in and dictate our lives. Your emotional, mental health awareness consists of you finding your identity and knowing who you are. Now watch this. Somebody give me the answer to this question. What's the richest place in the whole wide world? And I know a lot of y'all know the answer. You know the answer. Somebody type the answer in real quick and let us know what the answer is. It's the graveyard. Understanding this, and I'm not pushing the point of suicide, but I need to help you understand this. Do you understand when you take yourself out, you take your greatness out? Do you understand that you take your greatness out? Because guess what? What cures have God really given you to bring into this world that no longer can be brought into factors by you because of this? We're not alone. We stand together when we're strong. We stand strong when we're together. And it takes a village of people that you trust to talk to and release to and know that you got a village that won't go around gossiping about your information. I'm really completely off my notes because it's another push. It's another level of a push to help men be aware of who we're supposed to be. You can't lead when you're not here. You can't develop and you can't help nobody else grow when you're not here. Mental health is a serious, serious issue that we need to deal with. And I want you to stop thinking about what other people think about you, that because you show emotions that you're unmanly. Do you understand the process of crying is actually a form of purification? You're not weak when you cry. You're actually building up strength in you. You're actually cleansing some things out of you. So don't take what everybody say to you as the answer to what it is. Find and seek help. Because when we're going through, we need help. And the only reason why I can tell you that, can I be honest? Been there, been there. I got to a place and point in my life where I was that low down on myself. Why? Because I didn't know my identity. And when you're in that low down, deep place, you're not going to find a whole lot about yourself until you ask for a hand up. Now, watch this. There's a difference between a hand up and a hand out. A hand up means that I'm trying my best to pull you out of the hole that you're in. And I'm going to give you my best to help pull you out of the hole that you're in by talking to you, by encouraging you, by lifting you up. There's an old saying that I heard before: you the man, be the man, man first. Find your identity as a man and be that man. Don't let life situations, circumstances, the loss of job, and things like that be what pull you down. We may not find a job at the same pay rate we were getting paid, but guess what? Find a job. Get back into life. Find the hobbies and the places that you like to go and do to help you. You know, my favorite place is sometime to go sit by the water, whether I'm in a lounge chair, whether I'm in my truck by the water. Find your place of peace and do that for you, so you can be the man for your children, for your spouse that you are supposed to be. But again, ladies, be their safe place. Be the open arms that when they come through that door from work, because you never know, and you know that some of these jobs that people have, prisons and cops, they can't tell you everything that they deal with. But can you be the open door, the one that hugs them and tell them it's going to be okay? And sometimes some of the same things you ladies want is what men want. That's just how our day was. Find out what we've gone through and find a way to make it better. I remember a friend of mine one time, and I know I'm sharing a little bit of stories here and there. A coworker of mine asked me, she said, "What do you give a man that has everything?" And she was really looking for a gift for Father's Day. You know what I told her? He likes sports. Sit down with him and just watch 1/4 of a football game with him, since you don't like it. What helps a man sometimes is you being their support system and you finding the time to make time for him and stuff that he don't like, or that you don't like rather, and just do that with him. That's what a man needs. And that's when a man will open up. That's when we open up. When we find the people that we can surround ourselves with, we'll open up. But I'm going to tell you now, this word right here that I'm getting ready to bring to you is the biggest killer in men. You taking notes, write it down, because I'm going to give you an acronym that God gave me for this word. Pride. Pride. And here's the acronym for pride. P is your proud. R is your rude. I is your indecisive. D, you become dangerous and you become a ticking time bomb. And E, it becomes an everyday thing because you got it embedded in you, and you can and will go off at any time. What helps us, men, is learn how to let go of your pride. Learn how to ask for help when you need help, because there's instructions that can be given to you through steps. A lot of times we as men, when it deals with our emotions, we want to pass the steps and we want to get straight to a solution, but it's a process. You got to go through the process. The first step in the process is open up and talk. One thing I like is they say a closed mouth don't get fed. It's not just that a closed mouth don't get fed, a closed mouth don't get help. You want help, open up and ask for help. Don't be so prideful that you can't ask for help. It's just like this. If you're not a mechanic, why are you going to try to fix it yourself when you know there's people that's been trained and gone through the process to fix your car for you? Like your car, your body, your mind, and your soul, take them to the people that can help you get it right. You were created for a purpose, but you gotta let your pride grow. Now, there's something about pride. Pride is twofold. You have a healthy pride, which means you get excited about accomplishments that you have, and that's self-worth and achievement. But here's the pride that I really want to deal with. I want to deal with that toxic pride, which is really associated with our mental health. We get toxic pride again because of the stigmas placed on men to be strong and to just handle it, not to be weak emotionally, one who cries or seeks help. That's the toxic pride. We're taught how to just handle this stuff for yourself. And I can tell you how toxic it can be. I remember one time I worked for the VA hospital. I'm a veteran. So I worked at the VA hospital. I'm just going to share the story with you so you can understand what I'm talking about. I had a situation come up and I called for a supervisor. They never showed up. Here was the situation. Here was the response I got. He's a man. He can handle it. Now, can I be real with you? While we talking, because we got to deal with the issues. Telling a man to handle a situation by himself instead of coming and backing him up can cause somebody to get hurt. We don't understand the importance of backing each other up. Men, we have to be there for one another. I'm telling you now, I got your six, I got your back. You don't have to try to handle this by yourself. Because again, look at the results. When you handle it by yourself, it becomes so stressful on you that you want to end it all. And see, I only gave you the stats for men, but do you know it's even higher now with younger people? One of the youngest people to ever commit suicide because of stuff like this was about 6 years old. So do you see how stuff is passed down from generation to generation when we don't deal with it? Man, can we break this curse? Can we break this cycle? Can we do something to help each other deal with our emotions? Can we help each other deal with our pride? Because the best way to deal with pride is to humble yourself and say, I need help. Whether you go to a therapist, even if you go to church, go to your pastor. If you trust him or if you trust her, go to them and say, hey, I have an issue. And ask them, if they can't help you, can you at least direct me to somebody that can? These are things that's so important that we don't really understand them. We don't understand how important it is to seek out mental health. And we don't want to wait to the last minute. A lot of times we try to wait to the last minute. And a lot of times, I'm being just real and open with you, a lot of times the last minute is too late. Because we get it set in our mind and we get set in our ways on how we're going to deal with things. And a lot of times it's too late. Don't let it be too late, guys. When you need help, seek help. And don't refuse to be vulnerable with your spouse. I'm sorry. Be vulnerable with your spouse and don't refuse to be. Sometimes the right person in your life at the right time is what can break a lot of the cycles of what you're going through. This world has put enough on us, so why we want to add more to it to ourselves? And then why we want to put that pressure on somebody else. We got to let it go. We got to seek help to be the best version of us that we can be. And we got to, again, not suffer in silence. Open your mouth and say something. Open your mouth and say something. You know, there's a song out by a gospel artist called Donald Lawrence. And he sings a song that says, "There is a king in you." And while we sitting here talking, I'm telling you, I need the kings to arise. I need you to arise. We keep thinking that this generation can work well without us. Can I be honest? And I know I'm supposed to be talking about men's mental health, but this is a part of it. Why do we want to put that pressure on the women to step up and be the man when we're supposed to be? Because men, let me tell you something that you need to know. Women are strong, but they can't train your young men how to be men. They need you. They need us to be the men that we're supposed to be. Open up, be real, be honest. When you hurt, say you're hurt. When something's wrong, say something's wrong. We got to get out this mode is, I'm okay. It'll be all right. No, it won't. A lot of times it really won't. Because you know why? Sometimes when we go through this, it takes months, it takes weeks, and it takes years. And some of us never get over it. We think the most powerful we are is when we end it. Can I be real with you? That's when we're the weakest. That's when we're the weakest. I know I changed up a little bit, but we have to be real. Because I'm saying this and I'm not bragging. Real men need real men to help them get through this. We have to push each other to the point of breakthrough, not breakdown. Our mental awareness needs to start, and it needs to start now. Listen, I'm gonna go back to another story in the Bible, and I want you to think about it. Think about Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. That was a weak moment for him. But I want you to understand this. He didn't stay weak. He asked God, he said, he knew what was going to take place in his life. And he said, let this cup pass from me. But then he turned around and said, nevertheless, not as I will, but as thy will. Ask God, what is the will for your life? Ask him to show you how to shake this thing up, how to shake this thing off. Because, man, I really want us to be like ducks that come out the water. When the weight of the world gets upon us, be like the duck that comes out the water, shake it off. Don't let pride be so powerful that it takes you out. Be strong enough to open up. Again, these things are like they are because we don't want to talk. Let me help you out with something, man. Once you think about it, when you were even young, some of y'all, even when you were younger, when you're in high school, when you and the fellas were together in the locker room, did you talk about everything then? You sure did. You sure did. So now why are we shutting up now? We talked about things that we thought we were great at. We talked about people that we thought we conquered. And we're just being real. So now let's be real. Open up and talk about the things that hurt. Talk about the things that you felt let you down. Because it only gets better when you release it, but it tightens up and feel like that thorn in your side when you hold it in. Some of those pains and aches, again, are imaginary. And we don't need to walk in imaginary anymore. Life already puts enough pressure on us because of what they think and how they think we should be. Don't turn around and put that pressure on your wives, your fiancés, and on your children. Learn to let go, learn to open up, and learn to be real. Have that talk. Have that talk. Everybody that you see on that screen that have spoken, they're professionals in whatever God called them to be in. Ask for help. Don't be like the man that when the flood came, he prayed and asked God for help. Well, before the waters got high, they sent the police by, and the police were like, look, get in the car, we're going to get you out of here. No, I'm waiting for God to save me. Waters got a little bit higher. He climbed up to his second floor window. A boat comes by. Get in the boat. No, I'm waiting for God to save me. Water gets a little bit higher. He gets on the roof. A helicopter comes by, drops the ladder down, said, climb the ladder, get in the helicopter. No, I'm waiting for God to save me. And finally, the waters took him out. He stands before God and said, God, how come you didn't save me? And God had to remind him, I sent a cop car by for you. I sent a boat by for you. And I sent a helicopter by for you. Well, today, God is sending people by to help you. And when they see your hand up and they see you drowning in what you're going through, take their hand and let them pull you out. You don't have to go through this by yourself. Your mental health is valuable. Your mental health is to help you get to that level of where you need to be at. That's it. I'm done. I am done.